Reddit. What was the incident at your work? When I was 17, I worked the egg grill at a big university cafeteria. The grease, oil, and residue from cooking thousands of eggs each weekend would fall into a channel and drain into a removable metal trap about as long as my leg. Each night we'd remove the trap, dump it, and put it back again. Sometimes we'd rinse it too. Anyway, as a new employee, I was overly eager to please everyone. I cleaned the trap with scalding hot water and tried to get it as clean as possible. That's when I noticed the trap felt heavier than it ought to be. It was only partially filling up, because at least 2/3 of it was filled with some sort of blockage. So I start banging the trap hard. I keep flushing the top 1/3 with hot water and slamming the trap against the inside of a big garbage pail. Nothing's happening. I keep doing this over and over because little tiny pieces of congealed egg and God knows what else are breaking loose. Finally, I slam it once more really hard, this time against the floor. Whatever was blocking the trap broke free, and this horrendous fucking grey and black sludge comes pouring out all over the kitchen. Words cannot possibly fucking describe it. The smell was like a living, breathing thing, a rancid mixture of purified egg, bacon grease, rotting flesh, and whatever the hell else was in there. It radiated instantly and irreversibly outward, slamming everyone in the kitchen like a punch to the face. I puked first. It wasn't even a question. I don't even think my mind fully realized what had happened. I was just puking my guts out all over the floor in front of me. I dropped the grease trap and turned to run, and 3 other employees were throwing up also. 2 of them into Rubbermaid pails, 1 of them into the sink where he was washing dishes. People started running for the exits. That's what I remember most. This was at SUNY Stony Brook, on Long Island. And the Kelly cafeteria had about 30 people working back there at any given time. We all met outside in the parking lot, gasping for air, trying to figure out what to do. No one knew what just went down except for me. They only knew something horrible had happened. When I told them I'd cleared the grease trap, they looked at me horrified. "Nobody cleans that thing, we just dump it," they cried. "We haven't cleaned that thing in fucking years." Needless to say, I was in charge of the cleanup. It involved a shit ton of bleach, several trips, and a steam hose. I found out a few more people threw up in the outer areas to out by the serving lines. One girl threw up into the bowl of salad she was chopping. Anyway, that's my story. Nothing will ever come close to that smell in my entire life, and for that, I derive a little bit of comfort. I work at a boarding kennel, and one day one of the dogs got out. It rarely happens, but it does happen occasionally. We all chased this dog for about an hour until they sent me back to the kennel in case someone showed up there while they were trying to capture it. I go back, and about 30 minutes later I see on the news that there was a traffic jam on the highway, and there is a cam showing 3 people chasing a dog in the highway. It was something straight out of the cartoons. I was controlling at a strip club, the person who sits there while you get a dance to make sure nobody's breaking the law. When we had the waitress come up and tell us that someone was downstairs looking for a guy who had just booked one of the dances for an hour. I assumed it was one of his mates, so I dismissed it with "Tell his mate he can hold his own dick for an hour." When the waitress goes UHH, it's his wife. She says they have a flight to be on, and she found him when she checked where his credit card had been used. I damn near shit myself laughing, and we went to get the unfortunate patron. He was crowing, "Nah, I'm single, I don't have a wife," on and on. Until he walked downstairs and saw her, muttered "oh," and walked out with her with his tail between his legs. Kudos to the wife, she was trying so hard not to lose her shit at the staff and the dancer. I bet he got fucking slaughtered later. Over a year in strip clubs, only angry partner incident ever. I manage a team of people fairly high up in the organization, and I pop around to all different areas in the building for meetings and such. I have an open door policy, and, since everybody in my business unit knows who I am, I get a lot of people stopping me to have a chat and pitch ideas and whatnot. I'm sitting in a meeting one day, a few levels down from my own floor, and I begin to feel the rumblings of discontent from my bowels. There isn't long to go, so I clench and tough it out, until blissfully the meeting ends. I scoop up my stuff and head out the door, and around the first corner is Tim. Tim was an awkward young man who would stop me often around the place to talk about some idea, or discuss company strategy, or whatever. I like talking to people around the company, but Tim was just always around to the point where I dodged him if I saw him coming. Tim starts rambling about some point of company policy, while at the same time, my colon is sounding the emergency self-destruct alarm. I stop Tim at the first pause, tell him, that sounds interesting, but I have to run to another meeting on the top floor, perhaps we could touch base on it later. He looks ecstatic at the opportunity. I turn the corner, zigzag around the foyer, and dodge into the bathroom. The bathroom has an odd setup. The cubicles are at the back, but they're arranged around a central point. You can't tell what's occupied unless you walk around to all the doors to look for a vacant one. But the benefit is, they don't share any walls, so each one is like its own little island. The bathroom is empty, so I take the one furthest away from the door and release fury. After the initial release, I hear the bathroom door open, and then another cubicle door open and lock. Even though I'm isolated, I reflexively clench up until my primal toilet brain assesses what's going in. I'm waiting to hear something which signals the unspoken agreement that toilet trumpeting may recommence, however, nothing appears to be happening. Then I hear the first one. It's the sort of moan you make when you're trying to be quiet but can't. Then comes a few more, some heavy breaths, quiet but echoing around the cubicles. I realize I'm trapped while someone decides to rub one out, probably an arm's reach away. Uncomfortable is a fucking understatement, but I've got no choice but to wait it out. Then the whispering starts. I don't catch what they're saying at first, just a low sort of mumble. Then suddenly, there's it is. Clear enough to make out come on my face, the awkwardness dial is up to 11. My mind wants me to crawl down the sewer to escape, and that's when I hear yes, fuck my face, I just do eyes, everything stops. I stop breathing, my heart stops, everything stops. I recognize the voice, I know what the fuck is going on. That's Tim. That annoying, pops up everywhere guy is jacking off next to me whilst imagining me fucking his face. There is nothing that prepares me for what to do in this situation. I am petrified of doing anything, even though I want to scream and run. Mercifully, the whispering has stopped. There is a flush. The cubicle opens and closes. The sound of washing hands, and then the bathroom door, and I'm alone again. I stayed there, not moving for 20 minutes. My phone was lighting up with people trying to get a hold of me, and when I tried to stand up, my legs had fallen asleep. I had missed a meeting, and had to explain to my boss what happened. I didn't really, but at that point I really wanted to tell someone. I hadn't had this happen before, he hadn't either. We both just kind of sat there, not knowing what to do. We still don't talk about it, but he will occasionally make reference to the incident just to make sure there hasn't been any problems. It's weird, but there is always this brief pause and then a nod, and it's like nothing was ever said until next time. And what incidents at work have happened to you? Tell us about it in the comments.